Recording in progress.
Yo, what's good? I'm your boy Trey Frazier. I got my brother Maestro Styles here with me.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to another episode of the Barbershop Sports Talk podcast, folks. Shout out to all of our viewers on our Facebook Live feed. Make sure y'all tune in on Facebook Live. Make sure y'all click that like button. Also, make sure y'all check us out on our social media platforms. We're on Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. We're also on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2. And you can also follow us, subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. We missed last week, but we back at it. I'm feeling really good. Maestro, what's good with you, man? How you feeling?
I'm cool, man. I don't want to waste no time as usual, man. Let's get straight into it, man.
I'll let you take the wheels, brother. What you got?
Quiet trade deadline ended today at
Yep.
4 p.m. and probably one of the quietest trade deadlines we have had that I can remember. I mean, easily one of the quietest ones that I can remember.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the biggest, and correct me if I'm wrong, the biggest trade is Melvin Ingram to the Chiefs for a
I
sixth
don't think that's the
rounder.
biggest trade. The biggest trade is Von Miller being traded from the
Well, that wasn't on
Broncos.
the deadline per se, though. I mean, I guess it was part of the deadline. Yeah, you're
Yeah, that
right.
was part of the deadline trade. It wasn't at the 11th hour,
At the
but
dead, right? Yeah, right,
that
right.
was, if you're talking about trades before the deadline,
For sure,
that's the
obviously,
biggest
yeah. I'm
one.
with you.
That's the
I'm with
biggest
you. I'm
one.
with you. I'm with you. Yeah,
So
one
yeah,
hundred
so
percent. One
Von
hundred
Miller
percent.
to the Rams. I forget what the compensation is, but the focus really
Second and third, I thought.
second and third. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I mean, really, the focus for me. I mean, I don't care about what the Broncos get in terms of picks. I care about how the Rams have arguably three of the top, I don't know, top seven defenders in the league right now on their squad, on their defense right now. Jalen Ramsey,
Um.
Aaron Donald, Von Miller. Like that's
Well, I
that
wouldn't have Von
that's
Miller
tight.
so high nowadays, but yeah, they definitely got a defense for sure. I
Uh,
mean, they are definitely tooled up for the Super Bowl.
yeah, no question about it. In my mind, I'm like, damn, like they going to the Super Bowl. I know I picked the Packers in the
Um.
NFC, but
Yeah, Von Miller don't do that for me. Von Miller don't do that for me. It doesn't make me change my Super Bowl pick.
so I won't necessarily change it only because I picked who I picked. Um, but I'll say this though. I don't think Von Miller has to be the best defensive player on
Yeah,
this
no, no, no,
Rams
no,
team. I think he could
no.
be efficient, given where he's at physically and, the age he's at. I think he could be somebody that can play a secondary role on that defense. And that just might be a better Von Miller.
When you say better, meaning what would be his sack ceiling? I guess
So we're halfway through the season. So what we
halfway
talking
through,
nine
right?
games? 9 games left. If he got 5 sacks, I think that's good for
That would
Von Miller.
be yeah. Maybe too good. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he'd be overdoing it. With that many in 9 games, maybe.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Yeah, look, like I said, I'm sure he'll be productive with the Rams. I'm sure the defense will take a step up. I don't, like I said, I'm still not banking on them being the Super Bowl. They still don't make my, they don't. Von Miller doesn't move the needle for me as far as changing projections for
Are they
me.
conference finals bound with this move?
I think they were potentially that before Von Miller. I don't necessarily have them in the finals. I didn't necessarily have them in the finals before, nor do I now. But, I mean, I don't think this changes their projection.
Yeah, I think to me they're at least in the conference, championship.
and you're saying they weren't that before Von Miller?
I didn't have them there before that. In my mind it was going to be Green Bay versus Tampa Bay in my mind. But I think this changes because look, if you're the Rams, I mean you got to go up against Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, potentially Kyler Murray, potentially Dak Prescott. These is dudes you got to stop.
Yeah, I hear you, and I don't disagree. I just don't think Von Miller's going to be that. He'll help. I don't think he's that big of a pass rusher at this stage of his career
Mm-hmm.
to shift him stopping those types of all of those quarterbacks.
Right, right. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take Brady out because I don't. I mean, number one, I don't like Tom Brady, but I think
I mean,
I'm gonna switch my pick here in terms of just who's gonna get into the conference championship in the NFC. I think the Rams get there with this move. I don't think they necessarily get to the Super Bowl, but I appreciate
okay.
what they're trying to do though.
Yeah, no, and look, you don't get the likes of Matthew Stafford and not shoot for the stars. So if
Yep,
this obviously this was something that they could pull off,
yep,
um, and yeah. So you don't do that. You should bolster up your team where you can. I don't have any issue. I mean, legit no issue. This is a great move for the Rams. I mean, and even in the Broncos respect, a good move for the Broncos because we're sure where they are at this stage.
mm-hmm,
They're in rebuild mode. So to
yep.
get a second and a third for them, yeah, both teams win. That's good business.
So two things. I wanted to say something about the Broncos thing, but just kind of getting back to the Rams. Yeah, these are the moves that you make if you're the Rams and you get Matthew Stafford in the offseason, especially since you were previously in a Super Bowl with Jared Goff. You know what I'm saying? Like this
Hmm.
is it. If the Rams, this is Super Bowl or bust in my opinion when we're talking about the Rams. As far as the Broncos go, if I'm not mistaken, he had the highest paid contract on that roster, if I'm not mistaken. So
I
not
wouldn't be.
only
Yeah, I mean, of course.
yeah, so not only do you get draft picks back, but you free up all that cap space, all the money that you was paying Von Miller. So now you got some cap space to work with, and then come off season, you can make some more moves. I don't know if it's going to
Yeah.
be more players on defense, maybe a little bit of offensive help, but they'll have like plenty of flexibility to make some moves. So the
Yeah.
Broncos, yeah, they did right.
Yeah, they definitely did right. They're not going nowhere this year. So they did what was necessary. Also in Rams news, Deshaun Jackson was cut today. So
I didn't see that coming.
yeah, he was cut today. I mean, it's not like he was producing too much. I don't know what the issue was. What the issues were as to why, but he wasn't a super. I think he had one game where he caught a bomb earlier this year,
Hmm.
and it's not like he was
He was on the Rams,
super
right?
productive. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He
Okay,
got cut by the Rams.
okay, okay.
Yeah, so and to add, I'm sure he'll be on a team, in free agency. So it seems like they tooling up the
Yeah.
Rams. I mean, it seems like they tooling up.
Hmm. Yeah, so it's funny you said that. I saw a clip of Deshaun Jackson on All the Smoke, and he was talking about the situation in Philly when he had that All Pro year. I think it was 1,300 receiving yards and 8 or 9 touchdowns or something like that. That one year, I think it was the first year under Chip Kelly, and then he talked about how Chip Kelly ran that team when he first got there and acted like it was sort of and kind of like how we suspected that he was running the team at the time, that he was trying to run it like a college atmosphere. And
Hmm.
he just basically said, hey, yo, like, you can't just come up in here and start, checking on niggas, like, how they sleep, how they drink, how they eat, and all this stuff. Like, he was saying how this dude used to call on niggas and be like, yo, what you sipping on? What how many hours of sleep you getting, and all this stuff. Like, he was talking about all that stuff. And it was like a 4-minute clip. I didn't watch the whole episode, but It was just a clip of him talking about how his exit from Philly that year, had a really impact on him, and just kind of discussing all those things behind the scenes. I remember Shady McCoy on that roster. They let him go. Michael
Mm-hmm.
Vick, who was coming off of a couple of years prior to that, an MVP type year, and they let him go. The whole Riley Cooper situation, like he was saying, like, yo, like there was some suspect like racism going on, while Chip Kelly was coaching, the Eagles during that time. So you mentioned Deshaun Jackson. I thought I'd bring that up because I saw
Yeah.
that 4 minute clip.
Yeah, like I said, man, Deshaun Jackson to be fine. He'll be fine. I'm sure he'll get picked up somewhere
Hmm.
and kind of be used in a bigger capacity. Like he'll go somewhere where he's actually needed.
What playoff contender could use a receiver right now? I'm just trying to think.
What playoff? That's a tough question. Who you consider playoff contenders right now?
Well, if let's talk same conference, NFC, where he just got cut from. I don't think Tampa needs him. Um, Cowboys don't need him. Green Bay, could Green Bay use him?
Couldn't hurt.
Yeah,
Couldn't hurt.
yeah. Because after Devontae Adams, I mean, you could argue he's better than Alan Lazard and some of them other guys, Valdez Scantling and them guys.
What about Randall Cobb? I mean, look, um, they could. Aaron Rodgers could always use a deep threat. That's what his game is.
Yep.
He's still one of the faster receivers in the league at his age.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, why not?
That might put him
Why
over the
not? I'm
top.
with.
You never know.
Yeah, yeah, why
That
not?
that might get him to the bowl.
Yeah, why? I mean, I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be excited about. I mean, I'm not excited about him going anywhere, but
Mm-hmm.
but I know he's still needed. I know he's still useful in the game.
Yep. Yep.
So
Name that just came up to me. Saints. Saints could use him.
Saints could definitely use the wide receiver.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I mean, I don't know who the hell going to throw it to him, but
yeah. Yeah. That sucks for Jameis Winston, man.
yeah.
That really sucks, man, because he was really
Who is their
having
backup quarterback?
Trevor Simeon, who I forgot was in the league, bro.
Yeah, so that you can go ahead and throw the Saints playoff situation out the door. So
They not making the playoffs.
now that Trevor Simeon at quarterback, I don't believe so.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I didn't have them
Yeah,
making
I
the
don't believe
playoffs
so.
anyway. I,
I did.
You did. You did. You definitely
Yeah,
did. That defense has been playing some good football, man. Keeping the team
yeah,
afloat in situations. I I mean, I was starting to eat crow, until the Jameis injury. I would bet to think, man, if they keep playing like this, the defense I'm talking about, that they just might
hmm
will the team to the playoffs, man. In the NFC, they just might get Willem there.
yeah. Nah, not Trevor Simeon. I don't see it happening. I don't see it. I don't see. I don't see.
I
I
hear
don't
you.
believe Trevor Simeon. If he got to make a throw, I don't believe him.
I hear you. I hear you about the quarterback
Yeah,
spot now.
yeah.
I
That's tough.
I hear
That's
you
tough.
about that. That's real tough. Jameis was having an efficient year for certain.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
yards weren't there, the gaudy numbers weren't there, but he was really
yeah,
playing efficient quarterback.
yeah,
So
yeah.
we was talking about Deshaun Jackson, but yeah, I think to your point, I think he'll be all right, and I think a team out there that could use him, for a playoff push, he won't be on the street long. I don't believe that anyway.
Neither do I. Okay, so the second biggest trade deadline. I think okay, now I think it's safe to say that Melvin Ingram is the second
Yes, yes.
the second biggest. I mean, the story came out earlier this week or maybe late last week that he wasn't happy in Pittsburgh. He had some type of a knee issue, which didn't have him play on Sunday in
Hmm.
Cleveland.
Yeah.
And by the trade deadline, he's sent off to the Chiefs for a 6th round pick that comes to Pittsburgh.
Hmm.
Um, Good for him. He wasn't happy. Tomlin dealt with it in the press conference today, basically saying what he always says: we want volunteers and not hostages. Um, you know, we wanted to work with him. We wanted, and we couldn't get it to work the way he wanted to work, so we let him go. And good for him. And I trust with as bad as the Chiefs' defense has been this year so far,
Mm-hmm.
he's going to immediately contribute to that. His playing time should be good.
The
Pretty,
Chiefs
he should
need
get
him.
good playing time. Yeah, yeah,
I watched some
yeah,
of that garbage last night. The Chiefs need him, and not to
yeah.
say that they gave up a ton of points to the Giants or anything like that, but I'm just talking about all their other games this past, in the season so far. They could
hmm
use Melvin Ingram.
Man, what's funny, man, is I was fully prepared to come in here and entertain the Titans, moving the Chiefs out of the Super Bowl contention and putting the Titans there. But
Mm-hmm.
then, the Derrick Henry news came in.
Man, and I was so bummed that we couldn't do the show last week because I was
Yeah,
ready to come in here and be like, look, Tennessee Titans, they a Super Bowl
yeah,
contender in the AFC.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
you
yeah.
you do
I was
that
ready
to
to
the
go there.
Chiefs. You do that, yeah. You a Super Bowl contender, and then you did what you did to Buffalo the
The
previous
Buffalo
week.
the week before.
Yeah, yeah. It's just no way I cannot leave them out of them being a Super Bowl contender at that point. But now you bring up the terrible news about Derrick Henry being gone for the season. Now I did hear that he can't come back for the playoffs, which
hmm
is 8-9 weeks from now. So it's a foot,
Right.
right?
Don't give me the line. I don't
Oh,
know.
okay.
Don't
I,
give me the line.
I, I
I know
thought
I
I
read.
I
I
thought
know
I heard
I did
something with the
see
foot,
it. I
which
did.
was
Yeah.
which
Don't
was
get.
wild because I watched a little bit of that Colt and Titan game on Sunday, and I know he was
Ankle.
neutralized to some degree. I know they gave him some carries and stuff, but he didn't wild out like he normally does. But that news that came out, I guess it was yesterday about
Yeah.
him.
Ankle.
That ankle,
Yeah. Ankle surgery.
ankle. Okay, yeah. That just came out of nowhere because I didn't get a sense that he hurt himself in that game at all.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, I still think he ran for 80, 90 yards in that game against the Colts.
He
So
did on
yeah. I mean,
26 carries, I believe.
yeah. So I mean, you would think that he might be okay, but look, I get it, man. Protect your asset for as long as you can protect them for.
Yeah,
And whatever you want to put into them signing Adrian Peterson, uh, you know,
yeah. I tell you what, he was on pace for about 500 plus carries this season. He was at about
yeah,
200 carries right before Sunday's game, and in my head, I'm like, you know what? Don't make a big deal out of it. Derrick Henry is their offense. Like
right,
you feed him the rock. Like if you give it to him that many times, then you got to do what you got to do.
right,
And quite frankly, too, he was going to be on pace for another 2,000 yard season, which would have been back to back 2,000 yard seasons by a running
yep,
back, which would have never been done before. And for me, you just put him in the Hall of Fame right then and there. The moment he crosses
yeah,
that 2,000 yard mark, you put him in the Hall of Fame right
yeah,
then and there.
yeah, 100%,
So,
100%.
Adrian Peterson.
Look,
Look,
man, look, you're not asking him to be Derrick Henry. Let's be
no, you're
clear.
not. You're not.
This is not a bad between him and McNichols. They should be able to um,
Hmm.
make up some of that value that he adds to the offense. I mean, let's just call it spade a spade.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to put Tannehill on. We're gonna put some more pressure on Tannehill. That's what they're gonna
Yep.
have to do. Tannehill
Yep.
gonna have to deliver.
Hmm.
For all intents and purposes, he got weapons.
Hmm. And he beat
McNichols
the
is a
Colts.
good.
He beat the Colts on Sunday
Yeah,
without Derrick Henry really going off. You know what I'm saying? He had that
yeah,
one. He had
but
that one turnover. They were down by 14 points in Indy, and he made some plays. He had that one
he did
touchdown
make
to.
plays. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not like he's not capable of doing it. I think I agree with you from a couple of weeks ago when you said when it really counts, and we're really talking playoffs here. When it really counts, you really can't, you really can't count on him.
I don't believe him. I don't believe him. I just don't believe him. I'm not gonna say that you can't count on him.
Yep.
I mean, maybe you can, maybe you can't. I mean, I just don't believe him. I
He's
don't
had some
believe him.
moments. He's had some moments in the playoffs where you're like,
Sure.
okay, can this guy really deliver the goods?
And didn't he have a game one playoff where he threw 8 passes or something crazy?
That was
Was
Garoppolo,
that
but
him? Oh, okay.
but
Okay. But no, he even no, he had he it might not have been 8.
against the
But it
Ravens,
was
he had like 100 and I think it was 110 yards throwing, but the issue was we couldn't stop Derrick Henry, and our offense was turning the ball over. Even though we had time of possession we beat the Titans by time of possession by a bunch, but we kept turning the ball over. And I think he had like 3 or 4 touchdowns in that game too. So the numbers weren't gaudy. He threw touchdowns, but that's what people get on him for is that, he only threw for 100 yards. It's like,
I don't even remember that he threw touchdowns. I mean, clearly I don't remember how that game went. But
he threw touchdowns.
Okay.
He threw touchdowns. I
Okay.
mean, his defense set him up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But yeah,
I still don't believe him though.
So, but I'm with you in the sense that you're not sure if you can really count on him in the playoffs, and we've seen a couple of moments where when Derrick Henry is neutralized and he's got to take over and make some plays that he hasn't really delivered the goods there. I do want to get to another point about that, but before I do that, I just got to say what's up to some folks in the Facebook Live chat. We got the Governor Vince Wright, we got RC Ron Cameron, and we got Mo Cheese. What's good, everybody? Appreciate y'all in the chat. But and this is another reason why I was so bummed that we didn't do the show last week. But we're talking about AFC Super Bowl contenders. We're talking about the Ravens. We're talking about Buffalo. At one point, we were talking about the Chiefs and all the problems that they have. But it was interesting when I brought up the Titans and why they weren't considered a Super Bowl contender, and you brought up the quarterback, which I agree with. But then in my mind, I had to think, and I said, you know what? Josh Allen hasn't necessarily, delivered the goods in the postseason either. Lamar Jackson, and as much as I love Lamar Jackson, he hasn't delivered the goods in the postseason either. I think when you're talking about these 3 quarterbacks, and this is not about skill. I just want to be clear. This is not about skills because we know who's got more skills over the other. We know it's Lamar Jackson, it's Josh Allen, and Tannehill is a distant third when it comes to just skills and the physical and all that. This is just about moments in the playoffs. And just to stick to Josh Allen for a moment, and I'm stunned that people don't bring this up, but they bring up Lamar Jackson's playoff woes. I remember that playoff game against the Texans where the dude melted down in the fourth quarter, and they was up by 16 points on the Texans in that playoff game a couple years ago, and basically and threw some kind of pass as he was running down the sideline and almost gave the ball up, like Josh Allen had a meltdown in that football game, and a lot of people don't seem to bring that up, but Josh Allen.
How did they make it to the? They lost to the Chiefs in the championship, the AFC championship this year.
In the AFC championship.
Who did they beat to get there?
They beat the Ravens and they beat the Colts.
Okay, and that's that. I mean, he did win the games, but it's not like he was spectacular, is what you're saying.
Right. And not only that, he still got to get his team to the Super Bowl. In the sense that Ryan Tannehill, the quarterback of the Titans, some people think that the Titans have better talent around the quarterback than the Bills do, which I kind of agree with in a sense. I think their I think their talent is better than Buffalo's talent
right now.
I think right now, when you look at AJ Brown, Julio Jones, Derrick Henry before he got hurt.
Okay, but he ain't there, so we can't add him to the equation right
Sure,
now.
sure, sure, and that's why I
As he comes
disclaimed
back and
it.
plays in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Okay, all
but
right,
and
all
when you look
right.
at
So,
when you look at Buffalo, it's Stephon Diggs. On defense, you got Tre'Davious
uh,
White.
uh, see, I think you ain't giving enough credit to Emmanuel Sanders and Cole Beasley then. And Devin Singletary, while he's not quite Derrick Henry, obviously, Devin Singletary has produced.
He's produced, and I'm not saying that they're bad players. I'm just saying I think I would take the Titans skill position players over the Buffalo skill position players. I guess is what I'm trying to
I
say.
don't. Now without Derrick Henry, I think I would take. I think without Derrick Henry, I would take Buffalo.
Okay, that's interesting, but I guess my point
Yeah,
is
I think I would take. Okay.
no, I hear you, but just to kind of get to the point though, I think all three quarterbacks to these teams, I think have something to prove. I mean, let's be real. We're
Are
talking
you?
about.
Are you? I'm.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yep.
And I get that the Chiefs playing football. Are you really taking them out of the equation this early?
Am I
Halfway
taking the
through?
Chiefs out? No, I'm not. I'm honestly waiting for them to wake up. I really am.
Okay.
I really am.
Okay.
I thought they were gonna
No,
wake
because I'm
up
listening to you
last
talk.
night.
Yeah, because I'm listening to you talk, and I'm feeling like you mentioning the Bills, you mentioning the Ravens, you're mentioning
The
the
Titans.
Titans.
Yeah. I mentioned
Um,
those three because dating back to our conversation a couple weeks ago, was when we had that talk about who's a threat to the Chiefs because the Chiefs were the creme de la creme.
oh, see, okay, but I don't that. Okay, how I saw the conversation though. I saw the conversation that the Chiefs, Bills, and the Ravens are the creme de la creme.
Oh, that's what you
Period.
said.
You know what I'm saying? Right. That's what I'm saying. That those are the three teams. Those are the creme de la creme teams
I see.
of the AFC.
I see.
Right.
Okay.
So when the Titans came into play, it was like, oh, okay, so maybe we have to take out the Chiefs to put in the Titans. But then
Oh,
with the
okay.
Derrick Henry injury,
Okay.
I kind of gotta I gotta be respectful to the team that was just in the Super Bowl last year, and for all intents and purposes, however you want to place Patrick Mahomes, he's the best quarterback in the league.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I was. So, no. To answer your question, no, I'm not taking the Chiefs out of this
Okay,
conversation.
gotcha,
I'm using them as the totem pole.
the,
Like
gotcha,
they are the standard in the AFC. They're the ones with the championship right
gotcha,
now.
gotcha, gotcha.
So and yeah, I'm still waiting for them to wake up. I thought they were gonna wake up last night, but it appears to me that there's still something there. There's some issues there, but I don't know how that's gonna shape out. I saw the next three games: Green Bay, Raiders, Cowboys. I I,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know how that's gonna shake out.
This could be it. They go on a losing streak here, and this could be it. You're
Yeah,
100% right.
it,
You're
it,
100% right.
exactly.
And with that being said, I mean, if I had to rank the creme de la creme, I can't even really tell you if I'm gonna say Buffalo one, Baltimore two, Kansas City three, and go like that. So I mean, it's not even the Chiefs got it tough right now. They got it tough right now, and Melvin Ingram ain't gonna be able to save that. They gotta
Right,
wake up.
right. Okay. All right. I hate to say this, bruh. This is we're breaking history here. This might be the shortest episode in the history of the Barbershop Sports Talk podcast. I really have to cut this thing short, but
Okay.
hopefully we can. Next week, you know how we do. Every Tuesday
Yeah.
and Wednesday episodes drop and all that. So appreciate everybody in the Facebook live chat. Appreciate everybody listening. Don't forget, folks, if you guys want to check us out on our social media, just go to Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Also on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2. Also, you can check us out on our YouTube page. You can also check us out on our Facebook page. Make sure y'all click the like button. And if you got questions, comments about the show, just email us at barbershopsportstalk1 at gmail.com. So, unfortunately, that's it. Me and Maestro, we're going to holler at y'all next week. Maestro, you got anything to say quickly?
No. No.
All right, fam. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good week. We'll be back next week. Peace.
Love.
Recording stopped.